right. This is Larry Gets Lost in Boston by Paul Revere. That can't be right. Michael Mullen and John Skews. That's a statue of Paul Revere on a horse. Cool. This is Larry. This is Pete. Out of the window, Larry smelled salty sea air. The breeze carried hints of seafood somewhere. A bridge that seemed made of gigantic guitar strings was just one of the city's more spectacular things. All done with the car, they decided to park it. With Larry on his leash, they headed to Quincy Market. Inside a big building with a round copper top, they found all kinds of restaurants and places to shop. While the family read menus to find something to eat, Larry's dog tummy growled. Larry's dog tummy growled. Then he spotted a treat. Someone had dropped it, but a dog doesn't care. After eating what he'd found, he realized Pete wasn't there. Oh my. He had to get looking, but where would he start? Larry made mistakes, but he was really quite smart. In the ground he saw bricks in a line end to end. Could this be a trail that would lead to his friend? Excited to find Pete, Larry kept his search. He passed a red brick building and an old-fashioned church. At the end of the line, Larry saw mostly green as he entered a wide-open park kind of scene. Meanwhile, Pete saw buildings from a long ago year. Like a house once lived in by a man named Revere. What he really wanted to see was his dog's friendly face, so they had to keep looking in some other place. They called Larry's name and listened for his bark. While Larry explored the big grassy park, he asked ducklings for help, but they ignored his dog words. So he crossed a lagoon filled with boats shaped like birds. Jack, cack, black, knack, knack, quack, pack, quack. Larry went down a staircase, and under the street he saw all kinds of people, just not his friend Pete. Red lines, orange lines, what did they mean? Larry hopped on a train that was painted a bright green. A baseball stadium seemed huge to lost little Larry. He faced a green monster, but it wasn't so scary. He then ran by a river and heard musical notes while people rode quickly in long, skinny boats. On a bridge that looked like salt and pepper shakers, Larry barked for assistance, but there weren't any takers. From the bridge he saw buildings, some old and some new. The biggest one reflected the others in blue. At his next stop, a big dinosaur was standing guard, but getting past him wasn't all that hard. On another bridge not too far away, Pete wished Larry could see all his discoveries that day. Inside the museum, Larry saw lightning. It was bright and loud and a little frightening. Just when Larry's hopes were starting to fade, a college student came to his aid. He picked Larry up and checked his dog collar. What luck, thought Larry as he licked the young scholar. They didn't see Larry on an old sailing ship. Pete wished his pal could share in the fun of his trip. While Pete was feeling sad, he heard a beeping sound. It was Dad's phone. Larry had been found. They arranged to meet at a famous place. Pete could hardly wait to see Larry's face. They drove up a hill to the end of the street, where Larry jumped up and landed on Pete. They slept as the car drove slowly away. It had been a very adventurous day. The end.